Hi everyone, you get to see me right getting up here in the morning in the Midwest. What I'm deciding to do, because I really need to repot a lot of the plants that I have. I've got a ton of plants. I probably have close to 2,000 or something like that. And I need to really focus on the care for them. I've kind of slowed down. In fact, I've almost completely stopped buying plants. Probably, I don't know how long ago. It's been a while, hasn't it been? Yeah, the purple ones. Yeah, downstairs in the plant room. So speaking of the plant room, I need to, there's a few down there that need to be watered, but I thought I would start my day with just kind of repotting things and just getting this one right here particularly. This is a Alocasia Silver Dragon, which has been a great staple in my collection, and it is absolutely beautiful, but it's not looking the happiest. It's got some tattered areas. I probably need to give it more humidity. These leaves get very, when they're very happy, they're very almost like kind of, not stiff, but they got more rigidity to them. When it needs to be watered or things like that, then it will get a little bit more limp filling. There's not any pests that I see on it, but there are some weird looking leaves. Obviously this one got torn, and you got some burns on there a little bit, but what happens often when you have alocasias, whenever you see the flowers, even though it may be like, oh yay, flowers, they're not that pretty, by the way. I mean, at least I don't feel like they are. But that takes a lot of energy from the plant. And so typically what you'd want to do is just go ahead and cut these off. And that's what I will do today. In fact, I have my scissors over there. And I thought I would do this with you guys. And then I'm also going to repot it just because I feel like, now, I feel like it just is in need of repotting at this point. It just looks, the soils kind of look more compacted. And it's a great time to be able to find corms, like you can kind of see here. Sometimes they'll grow off of the top of where the top dirt is, basically. And you'll find corms, but a lot of times it's in the dirt. So I had to get some gloves because I will tell you something about alocasias, and this happened once to me. Oh, you know what? We probably need some water, and can you give me the scissors? I'm going to go to work with cutting some things. So if they have calcium oxalate in the soil. Here's another corm it looks like, but I think this one's probably, yeah, that one's not, it's done. So it has calcium oxalate in the soil. And if you know about calcium oxalate, that it can get very, like, it can cause some kind of reaction to your hands where it feels like numbness and tingling, shock-like sensations. If you were to eat any of the calcium oxalate, it would be terrible. It would be very, very painful. And I don't know if it can cause death, but I think it can be very a problem. Yes, I'll do that. And also, can you give me the bucket? I'm gonna use that for trash. So I'm really basically just today, I'm gonna do probably a couple of different repotting. The one that I'm starting with today, like I said, is the Silver Dragon. It is absolutely amazing. It's been a staple in my collection, and I'm very, very happy about it. So I'm just it's one of the ones that I have, like, I have a big old, my kind of rare plants are the ones that I really kind of favor because my room's right there. I like coming out. I used to have it downstairs in a plant room, but I'm repotting this one because it's just starting to look a little bit neglected. And I'm just kind of going over basically the care on this. Now, alocasias in general, even though this one, the Silver Dragon, can go a little bit longer without being watered, this one's very tolerant of, and then I might need some kind of something. I got my trash here. I might need a plate under it or something like that. But I'm gonna water it. I'm gonna clean it for pests. I don't see any pests particularly on this right now, but like I said, I'm kind of, you know, when you're a plant person, you start to kind of see little things, little changes about your plant, and you kind of start saying, okay, it's time for me to do something. I am somebody who, I like to sometimes change the place that my plant is, just because of the fact that that I feel like sometimes if it looks like it's not doing real happy in a certain place, I will maybe move it to another place. But this one usually does happy in most places, but even though it's tolerant in a lot of conditions, that does not necessarily mean that it should be put in those type of conditions all the time. Can you hand me those scissors right there? But so I started noticing that this kind of, even though this may look good, I started kind of noticing that it was getting a little bit, I don't know, some of the leaves were getting kind of weird shaped and stuff like that. And so the first thing that I'm going to do is, so these flowers that you see here, this takes a lot of energy from the plant. I'm gonna cut these off. They're not, they're really not that pretty. Oh, dang it, I just Oh, I cut off one of the new leaves. Dang it. Ah, man, that's, dang it. Ah, okay. Well, you know what I might do with this leaf here? I'm gonna try to do that whole framing thing. Dang it. Oh well. You know what? Yeah, that was a new leaf too. Dang it. All right. Well, you guys gonna see it live time. You know that this is live when I got accidentally cut it off. That's such a pretty leaf. Oh, that was probably one of the ones that was, oh well. You know what? I'll frame it. I'll see if I can do the little skeleton leaf thing, but oh, look at that. I accidentally cut it off. Dang it. Okay. Yeah, I feel bad. Okay. Well, shoot, that happens. So anyways, so I just cut off the flowers. You know, I don't know if you just grow these. I'm afraid to even look in there because of the fact that with the calcium oxalate, I think, are these seeds?
Especially in those.
I don't know if those are considered seeds. I don't really know about that part. I wonder if they are seeds. I'm gonna look that up and I'm gonna save these seeds and see if how you grow it from that. I don't know. I don't know. I only do from the corms, so I really don't know. If you guys know, comment below. Sorry, I'm late here. What is the plant's name? It's an Alocasia silver dragon, and it is amazing. If you don't have one, you need to get one because it is an amazing, amazing plant. Maybe not this because we eat on that.
Not anymore.
What?
That's why I brought it because
Where'd you get it from?
It is one of our plates, but like that's like the one green one.
I like this plate.
Oh my gosh.
That's my grandma's plate. So,
oh my goodness.
No. But yeah, so I lost the leaf accidentally. Ugh, one of the nicest looking ones. Dang it. You're welcome. Absolutely. Dang it, I hate that, but you know what? It's okay. It happens. So, and this is usually a very easy, and sorry, all of a sudden when I get gloves on, my nose starts itching like crazy. But I cut off the flowers because that takes a lot of energy, and now I'm just kind of cleaning up, and I'm gonna repot. No,
we don't use that one.
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh,
I'm gonna. He keeps on getting pot dishes from our actual dishes.
What?
So no, I'd like for downstairs if you can.
Oh.
So now, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna repot this. The soil is just kind of getting a little bit compacted looking, and I'm also gonna look for corms. So if you're tuning in, it's an Alocasia silver dragon. I've had this one for a long time. I already pulled corm off of it, as you can see. The corm, you can grow a whole nother one. I don't have the best success in growing corms, but I did with some stratum. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take it out and I'll show you guys what the roots look like. Oh man, yeah, this is getting root bound. No wonder why I notice when the leaves get a little bit like curled looking, often I will go straight to repotting something because unless it has pest, often it is that needs to be repotted or that may need to be watered. But look at that. Looky there. Oh my goodness. So this definitely needed to be repotted. So I will go ahead and set that aside. In fact, this is all the soil basically that came out of that. That's it. The rest is all tied up in there. I'm gonna put it in a big, now I'm just kind of taking off the dirt. I tell you what, every single time this happens, I'll itch, my nose starts itching. Do you guys have that same problem where your nose starts itching when all of a sudden you get gloves on or you can't touch your nose? Here's another corm that looks, sometimes they'll grow from the top, but usually a lot of times you'll find them in the soil. There you go, that's perfect.
We baking that.
Whatever. I bought these specifically for that. I will reuse some of the soil even though there's not anything here, as long as there's no pest in it. But one of the things that I will do is I will also I have these granules. What I'm doing right now is, even though there's not a lot of soil that's like letting go, I will start to kind of take off some of the soil gently, just kind of do that there, because I'd like to assess if there's any more corms in there, if there's anything that I need to do. Oh, here's a big corm actually on the top. So you can see it was on the top. And like I said, I'm not the best at getting corms to grow, but I did actually on the Clipolata or the Clipolata Alocasia. It was crazy. Oh
my gosh.
How many I got from that. Oh, here's another corm. It's like digging in gold, or digging in like for a treasure hunt or something. I don't know. Here's another one. So I've got 4 there, and then let's see. So, and then I'm just kind of continually, and it's for those of you that are joining, I've got my silver dragon, and this one's always been pretty spectacular overall. Been really happy. But just lately, oh, here's another huge one. Look at that. I could actually probably just put this one straight in soil that's got some roots, it almost looks like there. So that's good. But the corms, they kind of grow from the top, and sometimes they'll grow, a lot of times they'll grow on the soil. So that's why I like to kind of, you see I'm kind of gently clawing at the dirt here, just to kind of see if I can find any corms. Sometimes when you've got pumice in there, it feels like you can't tell if it's a corm or not. But I was noticing on this, the reason why I'm repotting it is because I was kind of noticing that it was the leaves were getting a little bit curled and they didn't look the happiest. So if you can see here, what I've got going on there is it definitely was the point where it was root bound. Still doing pretty good, but it's just one of those things where you just kind of get used to your plants, and you can tell when it needs to be repotted or watered and things like that. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of gently, I had pumice. Pumice is the best, by the way. If you make your own soil, I make my own. I'm gonna be switching up my the amendments that I use a little bit. I would love to just use all pumice, but it's so expensive. And I know that, perlite is not the best for the environment. But I do have some perlite that I'm using, but I really do want to move on over to pumice. I like the chunkier aspect of it, but there are chunky aspects of, like you can see right there how chunky that is. I like the chunkier aspects. It really does help with drainage. That's the big part of pumice. The reason why I use it, and perlite is basically the substitute for that. But pumice is more sustainable. And so, yeah, this was in much need. The roots look great though. If you look at the roots and see how beautiful they look really good. I don't see anything that's too concerning here. I don't see any root rot or anything like that. So, yeah, just kind of whittling my way through the dirt and seeing if I can feel any corms. I won't probably separate. Sometimes I make it a challenge for myself to separate all the roots. I don't think that's a good idea for this one because they look pretty happy overall, but like I do like to kind of, when it looks this compact, kind of loosen it up a little bit. But it is pretty compact in there. And I don't even know how long I had it in that pot, but I am gonna take it up a pot quite a bit because I look at the span. Now I know a lot of people are like, oh, don't do too big of a pot size. This is what it was in, right? Okay. And then this is the size that I'm going to. Now, I have my own kind of thing that I do. Oh, here's another corm. I have my own kind of thing that I do. I would never probably do that with like annuals or like roots that are like short roots. But certain plants, depending on, especially like philodendrons and certain alocasias, the span of the leaves is kind of what I can look at. Is if the span of the leaves is greater than the span of the pot, then I'm usually like, we're good. If it was the other way around, then I probably wouldn't. So it kind of just depends on the roots in some instances, like how deep the roots go, or like if they're super shallow. Like for instance, the lipstick plant is pretty shallow. With the roots, I mean, it's almost insane shallow, like it's crazy. And then strings of things are always usually pretty shallow roots, even though they will grow pretty deep down into the pot. The other thing I do that really probably guides me more than anything else is really the span of the entire plant. You can see kind of the span. And so you can see here how small that pot was, and it was way outside of that. Now, there are some people who will use things like moss poles for other plants that they'll have a tiny little pot, and that's perfectly fine. But they'll have a tiny little pot and they have moss pole, and that moss pole really is an extension of the roots, and so where the roots grow. So that's why you can get some crazy big plants, philodendrons and such, and anthuriums on just in a little tiny pot, and then when you have a moss pole. So moss poles are amazing. I have a bunch downstairs that we make ourselves. And so I don't know how much more I'm sure there's probably more corms. I found another one. But I probably won't do too much. I like to just kind of loosen it up a little bit to kind of see what I can get out of there as far as corms, because it always, you know what? I think I did grow a little silver dragon somewhere. I feel like it's in one of the terrariums downstairs. I do. I feel like it's there. So, and you know, the funny thing about alocasias is they'll pop up different places all the time. It's kind of funny actually, because I have this, when we were moving around plants, when we were I swear, every single room in my house, we have 5 rooms and then 1 bonus room, so 6 total. Every single room in my house has been the plant room or had a plant wall at some point. And when we were moving around, I had everything out in the living room, and it was like winter time or something like that. And I have a lot of plants, and so I have particular ones. I always know when they're missing though. I always know when it's weird, if you know, you know. But I had one, the dragon tooth alocasia, that wasn't doing too great. And I love that alocasia, absolutely love it. And I was like, where the heck, after I had them out in the living room for a while, I didn't see it anymore. And then one day it just hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, where's my dragon tooth? And then I was really sad about it. I thought it died. And you know, alocasias in general, they'll go dormant. So that happens. You'll see them popping up different places. But then one day I was out repotting. One day I repotted a syngonium, confetti actually, that had, wasn't doing too great, but I repotted it. And I was using different soil. I was repotting up in a huge pot that already had some soil in it. And then I cut all the leaves down from that syngonium, and it started doing great. In the next probably several months, this syngonium took off. It looked amazing. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I see the dragon tooth come up. And I was so happy because it looks so good. It did have some weird kind of looking leaves at first a little bit. Oh, hey, here's another one. Oh, wait, is that a pumice? I can't tell. No, I don't know what that is. It's weird. I thought I was getting another one there, but I guess not. But anyways, so then the dragon tooth popped up. There were like 3 leaves. And I was so happy that I didn't lose it. But that's what, I don't know if it came from, it was in with the syngonium confetti or it was already in the pot. But you'll have that happen sometimes. You'll get some corms that actually will just, they'll go dormant a little bit. Like here's, well, that was one that was a corm, but no longer anymore, it looks like. But you'll get them popping up sometimes. And now I thought I lost it again. And then we put the confetti, the syngonium confetti, which is beautiful, by the way. It's actually out on our front porch, and that's how much I love it, because I love to have it displayed. It's just really pretty and really full. And I just noticed the other day that the dragon tooth came back, because the leaves that it had before, they died, and then I thought it was done. And then it came back, and it has the prettiest leaf. Oh my gosh, the leaf is just amazing. I have never seen it look that good. So here is another corm. Oh my gosh, I feel like I should do like, look, I got another one. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Okay, so I've got, how many did I have here? 1, 2, this is the one that's probably gonna go straight to the pot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 corms, and I see another one. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'll be lucky. So maybe I should, you know what I like to do? I like to experiment. And so sometimes what I'll do is I'll put them in different kinds of amendments or different kinds of mediums to see what it does best in. The best luck I had, really honestly, was in the stratum. That's when the Clypolata, the Alocasia Clypolata, went crazy. I have so many of them now. Like, I plant them outside, and they're just, like, I have one that's really cool. I'll have to show you guys that at some point, but yeah, the Clypolata is pretty easy. The biggest thing with alocasias in general, you can take a look at that. Isn't that pretty? The biggest thing with the alocasias, they love a lot of fertilizer. You gotta be careful though. Sometimes you can get burned edges. So you wanna dilute your fertilizer. They also, it's kind of weird, they really do like a lot of water. They will tolerate a lot of water, but you don't want to, you gotta give it a little bit of drying out time, just a little bit. They kind of tolerate both ways, but you can get root rot from them potentially. So that is a potential, but they will stand a little bit more water. They are known and notorious for spider mites. They just do, especially the thinner leaf ones. The thicker leaf ones like that are not gonna usually have, they can. I have different ones that have had issues, but they're usually not as much. I didn't think I was gonna do this. I didn't think that I was gonna go through and like take all the dirt out, but I am. I'm doing it. So, and I'm just trying to, I think I got overly excited about seeing so many corms in there. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and, so sometimes you'll actually get a little plant too growing from the actual plant. That happens a lot with the Clypolata. I don't know if the Clypolata are just a lot easier to grow from corm. I would assume that they would all be pretty easy, but I've tried it with the Cuprea. I've tried it with the Oslani. I did get the Oslani to grow, but then Oslani, I don't know why. I feel like that's a hard one to grow. I don't know why. So, but it is kind of a thinner leaf one. The thicker leaf ones, I find that I have more, except for the Clypelata. The Clypelata is the thin leaf one, so. But I like the variety in Alocasias. For a long time, it was my favorite, like all, because there's just so much variety, and I have a lot of them. I mean, I've got the Alocasia Chanteri, I got the Frydek, which is a cheaper Alocasia, but it's absolutely beautiful. I feel like it's underrated, but it is kind of notorious. Oh, here's another one, got another one. Woohoo. It is kind of notorious for spider mites. It does okay when it has the spider mites, even though I can't stand it having it on there. But a lot of plants will get very unhappy when it has pest. But the Frydek, sometimes it will keep on. I mean, they get some crazy leaves. But it looks terrible. When it's looking terrible, it looks terrible. When it looks great, it looks great. But I think you almost have to like spray down your plant every single day with water to almost prevent those spider mites. So like I said, I did not plan on taking all the soil. I've got quite a bit in there that was kind of wrapped up in there. But I am repotting the Silver Dragon. This is probably one of my, would you say this is one of my favorites?
Yes.
I've had this for so long. It's not so rare anymore, but this is, I don't usually like buying seconds of plants, but there are certain plants that I probably, you get me, I'm buying another one, and this probably would be one. I see them sometimes at Walmart. Ooh, another corm, got it. I got probably 10 corms in there. Probably none of them will grow unless I put it in stratum.
No, the stratum, yeah.
But and if I saw this anywhere, whether it was at the big box store or Walmart, wherever, I would probably go ahead and buy it, unless it's crazy high. But I love the silver dragon. It just makes me happy. And I know that I do have a corm that I think accidentally grew down one of the terrariums. So this has just been this has been a stunner. Even when it doesn't look as great, like right now, it doesn't look as great. I know that seems kind of like hard to believe because it still looks pretty. But it's just been kind of looking not so happy lately. But it's got a lot of corms, so that tells me a good sign.
Do you think corms take energy from them?
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I think so. But yeah, so I figured I'd go ahead and repot it, and because it was really root bound. So you can see kind of here, and I'm kind of getting all messy here, but I thought it doesn't have any pests that I can see, but I still will put some granules in there, which I'll need. And then also just trying to assess the roots, make sure everything looks okay. I have lost a few roots, and that's okay. That's all right. There are some people that when they want to keep it in the same size pot that you could potentially cut off some of the roots. I don't like doing that. I think unless it was something that I was keeping inside that was like, you know, already kind of, not its max, but like at the bigger point of its growth, then I probably would start cutting. But like something like this, I want this to get super big and healthy. And just, I mean, like, look at that. And I accidentally, for those of you that just tuned in, I accidentally cut one of the leaves that was a new beautiful leaf. But I'm gonna do something with that. I don't know. Look how pretty the back is even. Look, that is so pretty. That is just really pretty. But
I feel like the back of leaves are
appreciated.
Absolutely.
Yep, I agree. I think that is definitely something, you know, there's so many beautiful undersides, and there's actually a purpose to the undersides, the different colors that you'll see. Like calatheas is supposed to help to something with the light, absorb the light or something like that, because they usually grow on the bottom floor of, you know, whatever tropical place that they're from. So I think that I've gotten almost the majority of the dirt out. I'm just looking for any corms that might be hiding under there. Corms are pretty amazing, honestly. Even though I can't get them to grow sometimes. But stratum is the thing that I've had the most success. So maybe I'm starting to get a little bit of a habit of trying to basically like, I don't know, like, I didn't think I was gonna undo all of this, honestly. I thought I was gonna like, I don't know, I thought I was just gonna like, Jax is licking the plate there. I thought I was just going to basically like, I don't know, repot and that's it. But I like to assess the roots, and I also like to get fresh soil in there. And I try to be really gentle with the roots. sometimes I feel like I should soak the roots and give it some good water, but all right. So I usually will make my dirt before, or my basically what I'm gonna put it in. I usually will make that before I do this, but I partially have it made. But look at those roots, all of them. They look actually pretty good. It was just very root bound. But yeah, this is my beauty right there, so pretty. So I'm gonna set that to the side, and so I have this size pot that I'm gonna be putting in, and then I'm gonna actually mix with you guys. I already have some of my mix done. So basically what I use and what I'm gonna use in this, because it does like to retain a little bit more water, I'm gonna use kind of a less chunky soil. I do make an aeroid mix in general, and you know, for things like anthuriums, they like to drain really fast. And so, but this one, we still want some drainage, but it's not gonna be quite as fast as an anthurium. So what I have in there, and I like putting, especially over the last probably year, I've liked to be putting the leca balls in. I like the look of it, and I feel like they're just amazing. I don't grow plants in leca right now, but I do put it in the soil. I don't know, maybe it's all imaginary. I feel like I'm doing something cool. But so I made, in my soil mix, I have a bunch of different things here. I've got perlite, I've got leca balls, I've got peat moss, I've got some charcoal in there, I've got a little bit of sphagnum moss accidentally. I don't do that usually. That retains a lot of water, but you know, having a little bit there, sometimes it's nice to put it on the top to prevent things like fungus gnats and like just kind of retain some of the water. But I'm mixing it up right now, and you can see here, I like when soil looks like the floor of like a well composted forest or something, you know, I don't know. Well, bottom, I guess that's kind of a weird thing to say. All right, because it's, you know, all of dirt is composted. So, so basically what I'm gonna do now that I have this all untangled, as long as the dirt or the soil that I'm using looks okay, and as long as this doesn't have any pests, a lot of times I'll just reuse what was in there and I'll just mix it with the new stuff. So what I'll probably do here, can you get some of the granules with gloves on, because obviously the calcium oxalate, like I was talking about earlier, I'm gonna put that down, and I'm going to...
What do you need?
The granules out there. So I'll show you what the soil looks like. You can kind of see in there. Like I said, I make my own. I usually don't fill up that high when I'm getting ready to plant this down. So I might actually, as I'm mixing it here, I'm using it more for a mix. I might dump some of it out and on this little plant. And I'm just kind of mixing it up, and then like that. And then I also will show you guys real quick here. These are great if you are trying to control any kind of pest. Not that any pests are my favorite at all, but my absolute worst pest that I cannot stand, I despise the most, is scale. That's the one that is kind of iffy about whether or not it works with this. But just the purpose of this is to know that when you are treating the leaves, just remember that it's not just the leaves and the stems that you need to treat. It is also the soil. And so I would not reuse this soil in there if I felt like that it was, you know, tainted with pests and things like that. So I always assess first. And sometimes you can't always tell. But I got a pretty good eye for what the plant looks like when it has pest. So now I'm going to take, I won't use this whole cap full, but I'll go ahead and pour some in there. You definitely would want to have, you would definitely want to have gloves on. You're not supposed to use that with food or anything like that, but you definitely would want to have gloves on to mix up the soil here. And so maybe what I'll do instead of dumping this out, I got an idea, is I'm gonna make kind of like a little middle and kind of push it to the side. I can't do it when I'm showing you guys that, but I'm gonna go ahead and push these to the side. So I've got the leca balls in there, I've got perlite, I've got peat moss, I've got charcoal, and then something like this when I've already kind of like, you know, been digging through, I probably would put it, I like to put it a little bit, actually, let me take some of it out. If I put too much in there. I fill it up usually, it depends on the plant and how many roots it has and all that. So you can kind of see, so it's probably filled up to about, on this one, about right there. And that's pretty standard for a lot of the plants when I'm repotting them. So the roots look great. They look wonderful. So I'm gonna kind of put some of it to the side. And then I like to kind of leave a little bit of a lip or a little bit of a top part so then it's not overflowing when I water it. Really, I feel like bottom watering is the best thing. I'm not the best at that though. So now you can kind of see where that's sitting in there. So you see that I don't want it too deep in there, but I do want it to, and I kind of try to hold it up. I do want to have it kind of a little bit in there so I have that room to water. But I do hold it up a little bit to help to make sure that the soil can get into all the roots. And like I said, I make my own soil. Sometimes I'll be in the middle. I almost like mix it in the middle of it. If I already have some made up, I'll have different amendments that I'll just throw in there. This is one that likes a little bit more water retaining, a little bit more, but it still likes its drainage because you can get root rot from this. So I try to give it that good balance. I don't put as much cocoa chips in here, although I do have some, sometimes towards the, I mean, probably should be towards the bottom though, more than I have the cocoa chips. But that's not, it's not gonna hurt to have a little bit of cocoa chips in there. So, but yeah, so there is, I've almost got it to the top there. And I'm just gonna kind of mix up some more here and get into the top. I feel like cocoa chips sometimes can help with fungus gnats too. I don't know if that's something that you guys have come across, but I'm getting to the top there. When it's this big, this one's usually pretty good at supporting itself. When it's this big, sometimes I will give it a little bit of support. Like I said, this one's been pretty good about supporting itself. But, oh, and dang it, I forgot to put the fertilizer in there. I use Osmocote, which I probably should have done that in the mix, but oh well, you know what? That's okay. I'll just add some to the top, and it's already looking a little bit happier. And let me scooch it back here for you guys just a bit. Sorry, it was all up in the camera there. But yeah, so I've got I'm kind of like gently pushing it in there. I don't want to push it in a lot because I don't think that that's a good idea. And I use all of the soil that it originally had in there. So that's what I'll do when I know that there's really not any pests that I can see anyways, or I notice there's not really any issues or bugs in the soil or anything like that. So sometimes on the top I'll use a little bit more of the cocoa chips. And like I said, I probably should do that in the bottom so it can just drain out pretty good, but I don't know why. I feel like cocoa chips sometimes help a little bit more, and sphagnum moss help a little bit more with pests and stuff like that. Maybe I'm totally wrong about that, but I like doing that. All right, so I've got this repotted, and you can see here kind of, it looks happy to me in this bigger pot. And yeah, I might get it still a stake. Probably what I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna water it now. Put it in this tray here. I don't know if you guys like these, if you need something, but these are great. You can get them at the dollar store. They're really great for all kinds of watering. The next thing that I'm gonna do, and this may seem like a funny thing, but I do it. So we live in the country, so our water is super chlorinated. And it is hard water. And I will collect rainwater a lot of times, although that's not always the most convenient. But I'll collect rainwater. We've done less of that. We've done more just sometimes using a water conditioner and things like that. But this is a Brita filter, and I use this because it helps with that. And then I put a banana in there. Yes, I do. I have one. Lately, I've been doing that. I did that this last week. And I'm just going to pour around here for that potassium. And then kind of get it kind of established in there. Like I said, I think that bottom watering is better, But for the purpose of this, to kind of get the roots in there, I'm gonna go ahead and just put it, all right, can you get me some more water? Now the next thing that I'm gonna do, I'm still so sad about my leaf here, I have to figure out what to do with that. The next thing that I'm gonna do, now that I've watered it, I've repotted it in a bigger pot, it already looks happier to me. The next thing I'm gonna do is, well, I'm gonna put his tag back. I'm very happy about all of those corms. Sometimes I'm a little bit like, ugh, I'm not gonna be able to get any of them to grow, but we'll try. Hopefully at least one will. So the next thing I do is I just take old like t-shirts and I take water either with the Dr. Bronner soap, it's like a peppermint soap, or I will use, like this is Dawn dish soap. So now what I'll do is I'll clean the leaves. These are really easy and kind of fun to clean. I'll just clean them and make sure that I'm getting the backside too. So sometimes I'll show you guys around the plant rooms and stuff like that. But sometimes it's kind of, and you guys can see a lot of the plants. So I do have quite a collection. But, and I always get the stem. Stem's really important. Sometimes that's where scale and all kinds of things like that can hide. I would recommend doing maybe several different of these and dumping it out, and then maybe using a different rag. You can wash your rags, obviously, or just whatever you want to do there. So leaf number one down. And then, so what I was saying is, a lot of times I like to show you guys, I like to show you guys the different places in my house that have plants. We have so many, and it's kind of fun to show you guys that, just to kind of give you an idea. But I almost kind of like it better when I'm repotting or taking care of a plant, because I feel like I'm doing a lot of different things. And I really get to focus on the plant, and I get to talk to you guys about the plant, and then sometimes you guys have ideas about the plants. So I really enjoy repotting. It's something that I feel like makes me feel good, and so that's why I'm starting to try to do more repotting. And then once again, getting the stem. And this is basically part of what I do. Now, sometimes before I repot, I'll start with the pest control first, but in this case, because I didn't really see any pest, I just started with the repotting first. Well, actually taking the soil out. So I'm just going through and I'm cleaning the leaves, both the back side and the front side, and then the stem is important. Sometimes at the bottom of the bottom base of the plant, it will have pests there, but this is a great opportunity for you to, if you need to cut any leaves, or if you see something that doesn't look right, this is a great opportunity for you really to assess your plant and the health of it and what needs to be changed. And then let's see. So on to the next leaf. It's got some burn spots there, which makes me wonder if there was maybe some water sitting and it was under light. A lot of times that's how it will happen when you get like weird burn spots like that. This is a pretty hardy plant overall, and it doesn't usually have a whole lot of problems. Honestly, this has been one of the showstoppers for a long time, and not really been any kind of issue with the leaves, but they've been looking a little bit weird, like curly. So I knew it was time to do something with a repotting or changing around. Some people don't like to change where their plant is, but I'll tell you what, it can make a difference. If you start seeing that your plant is starting to look a little bit weird, or it's just not growing right, that might be the right thing to do, is try it in a different place. Now, alocasias love humidity. You'll see some browning and problems with your leaves sometimes, but alocasias are big on humidity if you can give them that. And also know, just because you think, okay, plants like it outside, know that in the summertime, especially July and August, that you may need to assess what plants are not doing so well outside. If you put plants outside and they've been inside for some time, you need to remember that they need a little bit of time to adjust. Otherwise, you're gonna get a lot of weird things happening to your leaves. It's just gonna look weird in general. So here is the repotted silver dragon. So I'm really happy about this. I think it's looking good already. It looks much happier. And I'm gonna probably change it up a little bit, and I might even I don't know if I'll put like a pebble tray underneath it to give it more humidity, but I'm very happy with the results here. And thank you guys for tuning in and watching. And I'm very happy about the results, and I love this. And if you want to get a silver dragon, I highly recommend it. You can get it at a lot of the big box stores. Not that I necessarily recommend doing that, but hey, you know what? If you've seen the clearance item, it's might be worth getting it. And this has been just a pretty sturdy, stable plant that's been just a pretty amazing plant. I just started noticing that it was getting a little bit something with the leaves and not looking the happiest. I think it does need a little bit more humidity, but also I needed to repot it, and I'm glad that I did because it needed it. You should have seen the roots. So, all right, well, I'm gonna go and tune off here, and you guys take care.